Oh shit. Kill the podcast, dog. This shit is kill the podcast niggas too. Oh shit.
Oh man. All right, so
Oh
I just hit the
man.
record button. So welcome, welcome,
Uh,
welcome. I think we are probably going to get started. I mean,
just had to get it in.
I
Just
see.
had to get it
I
in.
see. That's where we going. We about to pod today. We about to pod today. All right. Good. 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 Well,
Yeah. What is up? I am Dr. Socks,
what's going on, everyone? I am Dr. Jones, and welcome to another edition of the Quarantine Snacks Podcast, aka the QSP.
where you come. Please come for the
Mhm.
snacks. And when you leave with some
But
soul.
we leave with the soul food. All right.
You leave.
We
No,
leave.
you come for the snacks. Yes, but you
Yep. There.
leave
Nope.
with the soul.
But
You
you
stay. Do you
stay.
stay? You stay
You
for the soul
stay
food. And you
for the
leave
soul.
with a doggy bag full of food. Has snacks and souls and food in it.
This is what happened. We purposely do not practice the intro because y'all need this. Y'all need this. We're gonna hit them
Yes.
where you come for the snacks,
Snacks, but you
but you leave
leave with
with
some
the
soul
soul.
food.
All kinds of snacks. All right, bet. Man, what's
What's
going on,
up,
bro? It's been too
man?
long. It's been
It
too
has been a
long.
long time, brother. Like
How you
it feel,
doing?
but not as long as it has been in the
That's
past.
that's true. That's true. So our cadence is pretty good. We're
Yeah,
getting
a little
better.
better.
We're getting
Mm-hmm.
better.
A little better. A little better.
But it's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. We are at a special episode, brother. We are at episode 10.
Bro, that's what I heard. I heard we did
10.
9 before this,
I
number
heard.
11 after this, but today,
Hey, today,
today,
today, 10,
today,
10 bands. Well,
10,
not
10,
10
10,
bands, but 10.
20s.
There we go. Well, see that. If y'all only had the behind the scenes audio, the stuff that goes on
If
this
you knew the
podcast,
10, 10,
if
10s,
you only
20s.
knew. Pim, 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 pim. Boy, you think we in Milwaukee
Man.
wearing alternate jerseys.
Facts.
Oh man, you should get your Milwaukee
Yeah,
Bucks alternate jersey, brother. Just
that's
throwing
a
it
good
out
idea.
there. Just look
Man,
it up.
speaking of
You'll see
speaking
what
of
I meant to
jerseys,
say.
speaking of jerseys, man, I was thinking every jersey's a throwback now.
Yes.
Westbrook's gone.
Yeah.
Uh,
Ooh, they're gonna be on sale. They're gonna be on sale. I got a Charlotte Hornets Kimball Walker jersey for $35 on the Charlotte Hornets
what?
website. Yes. Go get
Oh
it.
no.
Go
Oh
get it. And the
no.
nostalgia. That's Kimba, bro. That's our all-star
That's
point guard.
true.
Of course I'm gonna get a Kimba Walker jersey. And it's fire.
Bro, that's
So
a
look
good
it up.
idea.
Look it
Man, I
up.
need some stuff to go with these sneakers too.
Oh, I got some sneaks. I can't wait to get to that part, brother. You want to go ahead and
Bro.
jump in? Because I know.
No.
Mm.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Go
So,
ahead.
first of all, since we mentioned first of all,
Okay.
happy belated Founders Day. I know your Founders
Oh,
Day was
you know,
yesterday, brother.
it's a great day. It's a great day for our Ice Cold Brothers Alpha Incorporated. You know, it's December 5th. Yesterday was December the 4th, and it was
It
a
was.
nice, chilly day.
It's a
Nice,
little
chilly
cold.
day. It was
It's
a
a little
little,
cold. A
whew,
little cold.
it
It's
was,
a
it
little
was, it
cold.
was icy. It was
A
icy.
little cold. It's a little cold. So
But yes,
happy
appreciate it.
Founders Day.
Thank you.
Check out
Thank you.
our
Thank
quarantine
you,
snacks, both
my Sigma brother.
our Instagram as
Mhm.
well as our Twitter. We definitely shouted out you, brother,
Absolutely. Appreciate
because
that, man. Thank
Jaron L. Jones is Dr. Jaron L. Jones.
you. Yeah,
Pardon me.
baby.
One hell of a man and definitely a great addition to what the Alpha Men are already doing. So shout out to you guys.
I appreciate you, my
Um,
Sigma brother. I know a couple good Sigmas, and you are one of them.
hey, brother,
And
that's
I
good to hear.
appreciate our brotherhood and our friendship. You know, always love from one to another. So I appreciate you and thank you, man.
Man,
Hey,
absolutely.
I wouldn't do a podcast with nobody else around the
That-
stuff we talk about but you. You know.
so let's start with the snacks.
Okay. All right.
Um, so I got a homie, my
Mhm.
homeboy Dang Do. That's the homie. I mean, that's one of my neos.
Yeah.
That was one of the first lines. I think it was the second line that I was able to bring into be a part of bringing into the organization.
Oh.
Real cool cat, was the ace. But he's, him and his partner, they're really, really good people. Want to make sure that I keep snacks. And they came and visited me not too long ago, so they dropped off a couple things. I don't
Mm,
really like dark chocolate, but
mm,
this was good.
mm.
So they brought that,
That was
dropped it
good.
off for a brother.
Petite
I mean, it's a
dark
cool
chocolate.
box. It's really, really cool. Then what happened was they brought me some. They mailed me after they left. They mailed me this.
Oh.
Now I'm not gonna lie and say I know how to even say it. but it's Vietnamese beef jerky.
Didn't
And
even know they had a version of beef jerky. That seems so
bro,
American. It's good to know that that's
bro, it is like,
yeah.
and it's crazy because the story for the company is that the name, the name is, he told me he'd like to hear me try to say it. So I'm gonna try to butcher it and then I'm gonna have him say it because he's Vietnamese.
Okay.
Um, I thought it was bok choy. I was wrong.
It looked close to bok choy.
I was wrong. It's not bok choy. Bok kok is what I'm gonna say. I know it sounds a little weird. So I'm gonna get the correct pronunciation
Okay.
right here. Of course, it has gone. So we're just gonna stick with bok kok.
I think you did a great job, brother. That sounds
Thank
great.
you. Thank you so much.
You know,
cool, cool. We're gonna stick with that. Sorry to all of our Vietnamese watchers, listeners. We did our best. Turns out that this company, Bok actually means white in Vietnamese, and Kok means it's part of the word chrysanthemum in Vietnamese.
okay.
So so what happened was this is their grandma name. And they got started. Their grandma Bakok is taught us how to make her version of the recipe. And
Okay.
this was sent to him from Cali and then sent from him to me. So I'm
That's
excited to try
fire.
it out. I'm a big fan of beef jerky. Every time I go to Atlanta, I go to Ponce City Market, and I go to the biltong stand. It's amazing. It's just my jam. So I'm excited to try that.
Bet.
I don't have on a lot of black owned clothes today. I got
Yeah.
on my God is Dope hat, right? I love that. That was but I brought something better. Check this out. I don't know if you ever remember, like this is probably dating me. There was a movie called Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone. It was an arm wrestling movie. He was a trucker. And when he was
Wait, it's an arm wrestling movie.
Yes, yes, he was a.
This had to be in the 90s.
Here you go, dog. Yeah, it was. My mom loved movies like this, dog. It was a movie. Bruh, it was a good movie, bro.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, an arm wrestling movie. He was a kindergarten cop. Like, what the heck was this? This is just throwing his man money.
This
bro.
is Stallone. But yes,
Stallone.
the same
Not the
genre.
Same white guy, but same.
Not the same white guy, different white guy. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Sylvester Stallone. Stallone had this arm wrestling movie. Him and his kid was like, he was a trucker. He's driving around arm wrestling people. And whatever I hope y'all are listening, not watching today, because Jay acting up.
It's been too long. I'm too grown to not care.
So what happened was whenever he get, real good, like, oh, it's round 3, he about to get to it. He go from like this.
3. Yeah, I bet he was about to get
he go from this to this. He'd be like,
oh, he turned that hat
around, and that meant he about to whip you with
the whole energy change.
About to whip you.
About to lay into it.
About to lay it down, right? He always won when the hat was backwards.
So
hat's backwards, so we about to get into it.
Okay. For the sneaker wars. That's what
it's not the sneakers. It's actually these is like it's not a whole lot in here, but I said, didn't do a whole lot in the way of black owned clothing, but I brought a little bit from what I had last night.
Ooh.
So this is a black owned business. So I live in Bellevue, Tennessee, so Nashville on the west side. And there's a little spot around the corner called Hook's Seafood Kitchen.
Ooh.
Bro, I pulled up about 2 months ago, because they had just opened like maybe about 5-6 months ago. I had went in once. First time I went in, there was a tall white dude at the counter. I was like, okay, he's all right. Food's cool. I left and came back a couple months later, so maybe a month or two ago. Pulled up and talked to the dudes that was in there. It was these black kid at the front, a black dude with some locks in the back. Started chopping it up with these dudes. Man, do you know that this is the only seafood spot out here in Bellevue, and this is black owned, bro. These dudes are from Louisiana. They cool. I mean, gospel music in the back, kicking it. I mean, place, with coronavirus happening, they got the doors swinging. There ain't a lot of people inside. Doors swinging, people with takeout and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Food is popping. And on top of everything else, $6.99 for 6 wings and fries.
Oh,
and it's popping.
See, that's the spot, bro.
Bro,
anytime you can get food like that for those prices, yeah,
bro.
Man.
I love support every weekend. I'm like, they're like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "Dennis." "Oh, what's up, Mr. Dennis?" Man, almost there. So yeah, really, really excited to be supporting them, and I love that
that's
stuff.
Fire.
But then I got something on my feet.
Oh God, here we go.
Let me
Let
show
me
you.
tell you, I want to see what this is because if it has anything to do with the way you've been giving me cryptic text messages over the past couple of days, I know it's some heat.
Well,
Go
you know,
ahead.
I got a shoe that yeah, I'll whip out later. You saw it recently. Unfortunately, I couldn't hold it, so I had to put it on my story. So I'll show y'all those shoes
I
later.
might have missed. Oh, I seen those. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
what you're
you
talking
know
about.
what that is.
Yeah.
But this though, this is one that was like an accident. I kind of just walked in the store. You know how I feel about my Air Maxes.
Ooh, those are
That is a
crispy.
Thanksgiving colorway
Oh,
to an Air Max One, brother.
wow,
That is a thank.
wow!
You see the
Just in time for
lime
holiday
green
season.
and the
Yeah, those are
bubble
fire, bro. I
on the
like that.
bottom. You see
Yes,
that?
yes,
I mean, you should
yes.
feel the material, a little swishy at the top. I mean, it's all leather with a little suede in the middle.
Oh,
That
okay.
is an Air Max for Thanksgiving with some lime green speckles. You see the shoelaces?
I'm
See the
fine.
lace?
I'm fine.
Them laces?
I'm fine.
So you and the sole too.
Oh
Heel
yeah.
got some speckles in it. So you
Okay.
know, this is I'm
Something
scared to
like,
put it on.
yeah.
Some light, some light.
I was trying to figure out what would you gonna match with, and I see now. It's like the fatigue you use to kill the Thanksgiving turkey you got up top, and the dent. I see what you did there, how you paired that together.
Right.
That was fire,
So you
man.
know,
That
I
was
love
fire.
the shoes. The homeboy over at Foot Locker really held me down. I
Yeah.
like that spot. Ain't no but black folks that work in the one over in Green Hills, even though the whole area is like, you know, pretty white area. Me and my girl visit there all the time. And boy, like they hold
Oh
us down. So I appreciate them for finding the 113 they had in there. I'm grateful for you, brother.
wow, man. Appreciate that. That's a blessing right there, brother.
All right
Man,
now.
say I had to turn the hat backwards to kill
I
these
had to.
to yeah, with
The
the
ones.
Thanksgivings.
The
Okay.
ones. Okay, let's see what you got. I'm gonna get to this water and this beef jerky.
Hey, don't choke on the water. I'm about to bring some heat. I had to
Let's
pour
see
it
what
on
we
the
got.
mic.
Mm-hmm.
First off, let's talk about how I get historic L's handed to me daily on the sneakers app. But
Like all of us. I quit. I don't even try no more.
I may have gotten lucky
Oh, is
once.
that okay? I see a cement box.
But
Usually that.
see, if you see the holes, you know what this
Oh
means.
no.
I hit the
Jay.
jackpot.
No, you did not. Jay. 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 Jay, I was looking at those. I was looking at those just yesterday.
Yes, sir. So these are the
Off
off-white.
white.
Yes, sir.
Fives.
The off-white fives, man. I and
Whew.
got them retail off the sneakers
What?
app. I never hit on the sneakers app, but hey, I got them.
Bro.
So of course, this is a collaboration with Virgil, black
Yeah.
designer, off-white.
Yeah.
So we
They
just gonna,
hard, boy. Man, I
yeah,
was just looking at
buddy.
those. I'm about to get a pair. I'm gonna get the same pair.
Okay, I see you, brother.
I might not be able to
See
pay
you.
retail though, but they hard, boy.
Boy, I gotta look, and it comes with 3 different shoelaces. You know,
Crazy.
the off-white
Crazy.
Jones.
Crazy. I love that color too.
Yeah, me too, man. It's yeah, bruh.
And the five is my favorite as far as comfort. That's
Yeah,
it.
I got a couple of fives in the closet.
Man,
Might
they
have to pull
crazy.
them out later.
They crazy, bro. I love them. The off white is where it's at. Man, I don't even know what retail. I don't even want to ask. Let me look Google what retail is because I'm scared. Off white ain't
Nah,
no
bro,
joke.
the retail, they ran about
That ain't bad. That's great.
225. Yeah, that ain't bad.
That's something like.
Not when resale right now on StockX is
I
$785.
know it. I know it. I know it.
I was like, and I'm not selling these. Just so y'all know, I'm not selling. Actually, I might just if the offer's too good to be true. If you wear size 11,
Oh, 11. Come on, bro. I need 12. Come on.
that's why you ain't getting my shoes, brother. Okay, so in terms of my snacks, I have
What we
got my
got?
coffee, got my water,
Yep.
got some raw, uncooked cashews, unsalted, got that
I
Jones.
thought that was garlic.
Yeah, oh yeah, I mean garlic, anti-vampire like the COVID. And
Facts.
then
Uh uh-oh.
I don't know if you know about these.
What you mean do I know about those?
These harvest the red lentil Jones,
The snaps and the
bruh.
crisps. Come on,
These
bro.
are like hot fries,
Bro,
bruh. I murder
that's the
these.
move.
I'm
That's
telling
the
you.
move.
So love
That's
you,
the
Jones.
move.
Looking for a healthy snack. They're actually peas. Um, Tip: sprinkle some cayenne pepper in it. Hot fries. Can't tell the difference. So
I'm gonna try it, bro.
you know how we
I'm
do.
gonna try it. I'm gonna try it.
Okay. For my fit,
Right?
my brother, my
Swell's crazy.
good brother, we went to A&T together.
Okay.
Kelvin Thomas, he just started and launched his new clothing line. He's it's called Front Runners.
Okay.
PHRONTRUNNERS. You can find him on
Fire.
Instagram,
Fire.
Facebook. He's doing a lot of Greek apparel. So for your Sigma brothers. Look out, some stuff is coming. But
Okay.
yeah, I love this. It's got the A on the front. It's patched. It's a really nice, high quality patch.
I like
On the
that.
back, got me a little message. Transcend. For our Alpha brothers, we get that.
Man, I need to
But
see that later. I want to see the back.
he's got some good stuff, bro. He got some good stuff, and it's affordable, good quality. Ships fast. So, Kelvin, bro, I appreciate you for continuing to follow your dreams, on one and up with my brother. A new initiate this year. So happy to see him continue to grow. And welcome to the house, brother. But to all my Alpha brothers, again, happy birthday. 114 years of being the oldest and the coldest. You know how we do.
Speaking of something more important.
Oh, shade.
I wanted to double back to one thing you mentioned. I
Okay.
forgot to tell you this, and you can be pretty excited. I have a nephew, as you may know, who currently attends a particular HBCU in Virginia.
Mhm.
I just found out my nephew is transferring to a different HBCU.
North Carolina A&T State University. See, man, I knew your nephew was smart. I knew he was smart. Listen, we look, boy, let me tell you, we putting some stuff together. HBCUs are making moves, bro. The Morehouse, y'all doing y'all thing too. Now you can get, but y'all like, HBCU elite like us. We understand, but athletics, bro, A&T has made some moves, and I'm like,
Bro, I'm excited. I'm excited for him. I told him I'm gonna get you and Trey and everybody
bro,
on the call,
link up.
and that way y'all can kind of talk to him, let him know what to do, what not to do, where to go, where not to
Mhm.
go. I'm
Mhm.
excited for. He's geeked. He'll be starting in a couple weeks.
Okay.
He moving to Carolina from Virginia. Ain't never lived outside of Virginia.
Yeah.
Barely been outside of Virginia.
He'll like it. We'll treat him right. Yeah, link up. Let him link up with me. We'll connect. Let him know the spots to navigate, where to
Mhm.
maneuver away from. And if I have any connections, which I got a couple on campus, let me know.
Proud of him, man.
Aggie Pride. Hey,
I'm
HBCU
excited.
Pride as well. Good stuff.
Very proud of him, man.
All right, brother. We are at episode 10, but before we get
Mhm.
in, the real question is, how have you been, brother?
Man, I love it. I'm Gucci. I'm Gucci. I'm feeling. I noticed this last week. How do I say this? So as a therapist, right, I am the tool, right? I am the thing that I use in order to do my job, right?
Mhm.
And so I have to have a pretty decent barometer, like internal barometer, like how am I doing? What's going on? How am I feeling? And the more I'm in tune with that, right, whether it's in the moment with the patient or if it's just, kind of walking around, I really need to be aware of how I'm doing. And I think this specific job that I'm doing, right, being a behavioral health psychologist is a little different than some of the other positions I've had because this one involves the body. So I've become much more aware of my body, um,
Mm.
ways in which the body kind of works with me, works against me, right? What my expectations are of my body.
Mhm.
Um, and I hadn't even thought about it till kind of now that, um, you know, part of that struggle is like it brings up all the stuff you have, right? And I have a friend who does some work around like body image issues in men, and like there I can go on and on about this, but the short of it is like I've always had an interesting relationship with my body, and the work that I do has made me become more and more aware of that relationship.
Gotcha.
And so,
Wow.
as an endomorph, I was doing some reading right like lately about like
I'm
endomorph,
with you, boy.
ectomorph,
I'm an
mesomorph.
endomorph too, boy. It's
Right,
all right here.
it's all
right
right
here.
here, all
This
right here,
bum fat
all
area, all right here.
right here, right here, and it's been
Yep.
there like the entire life, right? So,
Ain't
and
never.
friends will look at me, you look skinny. I'd be like, yeah, right here.
Yeah. I hold the weight well,
Not
They be
up
like,
here.
you can't weigh that much. Oh, I can.
I've always gotten that, bro. Super
Yeah.
dense.
Yeah.
Just super dense. Doug. But like, just being aware of that and like doing some reading about endomorph diets and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And like the more I read about it, there's a couple books I'm gonna pull up about that.
Okay.
Like the more I kind of get, you go from being like mad at your body, right, to
Mm-hmm.
like understanding the body. And so I have a friend who, she also has the same body type, and she's like, well, like learning how to kind of love on yourself, right? Learn how to love on your body and not always see it
Yeah.
as a negative thing.
Yeah.
So that's really been on me lately, like really thinking about, how am I doing? I've been working out forever, right? Like just
Mm-hmm.
working, that's just part of my life, just working out. And kind of the frustration that comes with being an endomorph and knowing that like your body loves fat. And like, by that I mean like you can eat a grain of rice and it's gonna stay. You can
Mm-hmm.
have a slice of bread and it's gonna stay.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then, I don't know about you, but I got some friends. It's like I got a friend that's a model, dude, 6'3", 6'2", and like he could eat up. We used to eat try to eat 50 wings. I'd eat like 10, 15. He'd slowly eat the other 35,
See? Yeah.
and his six pack would get more defined. Right.
Nice. As I eat my raw cashews. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, how I pity the 30-pound, 30-wing eating guy. Yep.
Dog. So you just been thinking a lot about that, and like, and that kind of wraps into my overall like, how do I take care of myself?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
some of that is like, taking a break from being super strict about the diet, and I'm
Yeah.
on this meal prep right now. That's been going well, but also like, I think it was the whole COVID thing that really changed the way I relate to the world, because I'm realizing like I only got one life. I'm 35.
Yep.
I'm thinking about kids. I'm thinking about houses. This credit is going getting well. Doing this thing, and
My man
I'm just
said
like, look,
kids.
man, whatever, whatever,
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to set boundaries at
Yeah.
work. Trying to set boundaries. I'm starting to get paid more for the work that I do, which is really, really dope.
Look at
As far as
God.
like outside of work,
Mm-hmm.
and mainly it's because I'm like, look, I got skills,
Mm-hmm.
I have value,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm getting more and more confident about, well, this is my rate.
Yep.
And when folks are like, well, you know, can you help us out? I'm like, yeah, I help you out, but just know this is my rate. you
Yep.
know
Yep.
so and I
Mm-hmm.
think that the last little piece there, man, is that I think that people, we all have talents and gifts and skills, and
Mm-hmm.
my gift or my skill might be drastically different than yours, but I think like, time out for, at least being 35, man, time out for like just free work. you know like, I think we got to value ourselves as people, as black
Yep.
folks, as people of
Mm-hmm.
color, what have you. See the value, the inherent value that we bring to this earth, and start to demand that folks value it, or that they keep pushing, whether that's in your relationships, whether that's with your family members,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's
Mm-hmm.
with the job, whether that's with consulting, what have you. Like, starts valuing you,
Yeah.
and after
Yeah.
you value yourself, other people either get on board or they get off the ship. So
That's powerful, bro. That's real.
yeah, bro.
Just that term, man. Can't get no more free, Randy. Like we
Facts.
done. We done,
Facts.
man. Look, and for one, not and for those who are, entrepreneurs, as well as, have a day job as well. We kind of do the 9 to 5, 5 to 9 type thing.
Oh yeah.
And I know for us, we've always done workshops, we've always done speeches, we've always worked with organizations and student groups. So for those who are thinking about, like you said, we're at the point where it's like we know our value, our rate is our rate. But we still that came from also years of developing where it there's value and validation
Right.
behind our contribution, right?
Hmm.
So once you hit that point, it's important to have those strong boundaries to be able to say, yes, if monetarily you can't get this service, what does that look like? Where if it's a
Hmm.
barter system, like where I'm still able to contribute, you pick and choose when you got some folks where you can still do, that work without pay or compensation.
Yep.
But, remembering that everything that you contribute and put your time to, you understand that time is money. Like
Hmm.
the things that you're investing in are the things you're not allowing yourself to invest in other spaces that could
Hmm.
grow
Hmm.
wealth, that could grow, your business, that could grow your livelihood. And sometimes doing things for free shoots you up there, given the platform that may work. I mean, think about the fact that we do these podcasts.
Yep.
These are free gems that we drop
Facts.
every couple of weeks, where we
Facts.
share a little bit of our intellectual property, a little bit of our IP, and in exchange, we hope that you like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about us, watch us, promo, so that you can
Facts.
follow us. So when we do workshops like the one you're about to do in a couple of weeks, and not in a couple of weeks, like 1 week, right? We'll hear about
One
that
week,
later.
less than 1 week.
Yeah, and the courses that we create and the opportunities for us to do consulting work for you all, like you can get a little bit more info, and but we build that relationship. So we give something for free, but the long-term goal is to grow a following, to monetize based off of our talents. And I think one of the key things too, you mentioned you being the tool. Both of us are the tools in the thing that we produce. We don't produce merch yet, but we are that tool. And so it's our personal bodies. It's what we do. It's the way we
Yeah.
speak, the way we talk, that skill, and understanding that that perspective has value, is so important. And to overcome ideas of imposter syndrome or having
Mm.
to be perfect, that's something that I think academia has drilled in us a lot. We've been in school for over half our life. And it's
Mm.
always been, it's not good enough. You need to fix this now. It's always been go back, make some edits, make more edits. It's never good enough. Now defend it. All right, now write some more. Now defend it
Facts.
again. Now, if you can get it published, they're probably going to tell you to make edits there. Oh, it finally makes it. So you get conditioned to feel like, am I worth this number? Am I?
True.
Yes, you
True.
are. You are, because having trained through academia and having trained through the free things that we've been able to develop and be a part of, we have an added value. And as creatives, we have to understand how important our voice and our talents are. So I love the fact you're doing that, bro. I'm doing the same thing. Um, and seeing the fruits of that labor start to grow. I don't use social media that much because I don't have to. I'm glad that, I've been able to establish working relationships, and my name and brand has spread throughout those relationships, where most of my business deals happen from word of mouth and email. And so I'm just blessed to see that those emails go up, and,
Mm.
and figure out more ways and opportunities to share those talents, man. And yeah, it's dope. It's tiring, but it's worth it. I love the part that you talked about with body image, and
Mm.
we'll talk about a little bit more around that and masculinity a little bit later on, because we got our segments coming up. I think it'll weave back in.
Yeah.
Excited for that, bro. But yeah, man, things been going pretty good my way, man. I did a couple of trainings as well as my 9 to 5 last week. One around storytelling, for personal development, with my nonprofit I co-founded with my good friend, my bro, Brandon Telg. I talk about it all the time. Self narrate. We help individuals and organizations develop, share, and grow from their stories. And so we did this in a partnership with the University of Florida, helping people to kind of self-actualize, become more self-aware and look and find that purpose in life through story development. So we did that. It was a 3-hour workshop. It was a dynamic workshop. It was
Oh
great,
boy.
bro.
That's
And
dope.
yeah, man. Then I did part one of a 3-part series with a startup. Well, not in a startup anymore, but a pretty big tech company, in Gainesville. Can't tell you their name right now, but I'm doing a lot of internal workshops with them, around storytelling and using narrative, for inclusive excellence. And so, doing a lot of diversity, equity, and inclusion work driven through creating equitable and safe spaces for us to
Yeah.
have those needed conversations, bro. So it's been a great week. I'm tired, but I am excited because these podcasts, doing this creative work, being able to weave that in while doing the 9 to 5, taking a day off in the week to be able to have that day for just podcasting,
Yeah.
for that day for trainings, outside trainings. It's been really good. It's been really good, man. So excited to see the growth that we both are seeing and are having happen in our life, bro.
Yeah, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So we are at episode 10, and I think you said that today we want to talk a little bit about Rack City.
Just
Talk a little bit about the state of hip hop. Um,
hmm
why is that apropos, Jay?
Man, it's been a lot going on, bro. Um, I think, we're already dealing with all the other life challenges. We're dealing with, COVID, social injustice, um, just so many added layers, but we're also seeing so many deaths. We're seeing, the state of hip hop right now, that we are like, that's us, that's who we are. And that is always and will be a part of what makes us great. Is that's our culture, right? And so, hip hop is large, hip hop is vast. And so, one part of hip hop, one thing that is concerning to us and something we just need to talk about, I think is good to hear from two perspectives of two black men who love hip hop and is a part of that culture.
Yeah.
We're just seeing an uptick in a lot of violence, man. A lot of
Mm,
violence, and a lot of
mhm.
violence is being videoed and seen. We're getting conditioned, and this is just across the board, not just with hip hop, but just in general. We're seeing a lot of we've had
Yeah.
a lot of loss,
Yeah.
and yeah, I just think that we just wanted to kind of take an opportunity to talk about those that we have lost, but also the other things that have been very beneficial and helpful. We've seen how hip hop has also helped us through COVID and helped us through this isolating period. So there have been a lot of positives. I mean, yesterday was Jay-Z's birthday.
Yeah.
So I saw a lot of people. We're on Clubhouse and I'm in the chat. They had like 2,000 plus people in there doing a whole appreciation room. And it was just
Mm,
about, the unreleased tracks, the stories that they had. It's pretty dope, man. Give people the flowers where they can smell them.
yeah.
But to
Oh
see
yeah.
the influence he's had on hip hop. But yeah, man, kind of touching on the people that we've lost this
Man,
year.
wait.
Yeah.
Before we go to the people we lost, I
Yep.
need to know what your favorite Jay-Z lyric is.
My favorite Jay-Z lyric.
Favorite Jay-Z lyric. He's got such a large discography. I need to know what your favorite one lyric.
Well, the one that first jumped out was I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. Let me handle my business. Damn.
Business. Damn.
Kanye, you got me. Oh man, anyway. But that's just that,
Yeah.
that was just because I think we were talking
Yeah.
about entrepreneurship. But boy, don't make me go on my bag. Don't make me go on my whole bag. I got a whole playlist that I work out to called Tokyo Boop. And it's
Wow.
just Hove and
Wow.
Drake that I rock to.
Mm.
Boy, what's yours? Because I'm interested.
And see, I'm a man with pride. You don't just do ish like that. You
Whoa!
don't just pick up and leave me sick like that. You don't throw away what we had
Man,
just
just
like
like
that.
that.
I was just messing with girls. I was gonna get right back. That's it.
Bro,
It.
the influence he has had on being able to speak to certain things,
Bro,
just cult like, bro, man, listen,
bro, bro,
man, what do you do? What do you do with that, bro?
man,
Hey, slept on Hove album, Blueprint 2 has some fire.
bro.
Fire. Let's see, Blueprint 2 was, I think, a slept on album. It was a double disc, which is
Yep.
hard to do.
But I will say this: people say, and I don't know if you agree with this. I
Uh-huh.
felt like Blueprint 2 was a double disc. The
Uh-huh.
reason it was slept on is because there was some songs in there that if he had made it one album and
Yeah.
had 18 tracks,
Another
16
classic.
tracks,
Another Blueprint.
it would have been a whole different, situation. But I think he gave us so much different music in those two. And people don't do double discs like that no more,
No,
right?
no, yeah.
So
Last person I think that did it mainstream like that was Drake
mhm.
with a Scorpion.
Yeah.
To that
Yeah.
level. Other artists have done it, like we know,
Yeah, of
like
course.
Uzi. Uzi and Chris Brown, he putting out like 72
Bro.
track
Bro. I'm looking
albums.
forward to talking about Uzi in a little bit.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
man. Yeah,
yeah.
Jay, man, an American gangster, Jesus. Of
Mm.
course, reasonable doubt. It's just too much. It's too much, man. But
Hmm.
I'm playing Hove all day today.
I like what you said though. You said like giving people their flowers while they're here. And
Hmm.
that is something that I mean, I don't know if other cultures do this. It might be an American thing, maybe not just a black thing, but man, like we don't do that good. We don't
No.
do that well at all. I've
Yep.
been noticing, especially with actors, actresses, I've noticed this with some hip hop folks as well, that like
Hmm.
folks will disappear
Yep.
and then the next time we hear about them is when they die
Yeah.
unexpectedly.
Hmm.
And like especially with seeing the young kids that we're starting to lose, like you and I were talking earlier about X. I had never heard an XXX song in my life,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
once he passed in 2018, which like I told you felt like yesterday, I didn't even realize it was
Hmm.
2018. But once he passed in 2018, man, I started like listening to his music and I was like, yo,
Dude
this
was
kid
talented.
this
Yeah.
kid had big talent and
Yeah.
diverse, right? The
Yeah.
type of music he put out was like everything from like screamo, you know what I
Hmm.
mean, to like some
Hmm.
kind of like the kind of like more mellow type music. And I mean, he had a lot of good stuff. And Juice was the same. I had
Yep.
heard a couple of Juice songs, had just gotten the Juice, and then
Yep.
then we lost him. Um,
Juice World, for those who aren't familiar
Yeah,
with Juice World, just call him
man, it's
Juice
good
for short.
music, bro. But
Yeah,
like
man.
my lady says, like that's mood music. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
his last album was kind of dark, man, and it's kind of hard to hear his last album because he's talking about his
yeah,
depression, about
yeah,
his struggles, about his mood, and it's like it's kind of dark. And
yeah,
then and to know the young man was struggling with some stuff. X
yeah,
was the same. X was struggling with some stuff,
yeah.
and was verbal about it. You know, it's just kind of crazy, bro.
Yeah, man, it's like listening to ghosts, and
Mm,
so like
mm,
and rest in peace to Juice World, to Pop Smoke, to Mo3, Huey, who made Pop Block and Drop It, which is like,
crazy.
I
That's
mean, King
crazy.
Von, and then even Fred the Godson, we lost him to COVID. Like,
Bro, did you listen to Fred, Joe?
yeah, bro,
Bro,
Fred was.
bro,
And with everything
bro.
going on with Griselda, like this was his bag and his moment. And so to see, like, with all of these artists, man, the people that we that we have lost this year, we didn't even get to see their full story. And I think that
Mm,
that's like
hmm.
that's the hard part, is like I want to see you grow old. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, bro.
if my story ended when I was 18, man,
Bro.
like they wouldn't know Dr. Jones. You know what I mean? They'd just be like, and so just to see these
Mm,
artists and the creative genius that people had,
mm.
you know, I I just want to see us live long, creative, productive,
Right.
producing, um, just flourishing lives, man.
I think
And
that's why Hove talks a lot about like changing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he has, and I know you're all over this, man, but he talks
mhm,
a lot about like how important it is that he has changed. Like there's no
yeah,
shame that he's a different person now than he was when he was in Marcy Projects.
yep,
And I think what happens is because that's all we know, right? Like
mhm,
is the hood. Then when you leave the hood,
yeah,
like you bring that with you. You can't take the hood out of you.
hmm,
And for me, like I think some of my identity stuff is around the other side, right? Like being in these spaces where I've been the only black kid since I was in middle school,
hmm,
in these spaces because I'm in the smart classes. And like, you know, my sister has this saying. She like when people kind of mess with her, and they think she just being real nice. She's like, "I'm from the hood, Slim. Like, don't forget I'm from the
bust
hood,
your
Slim." And
yeah.
I was talking to a patient about that yesterday. This black woman, man, she's so dope. And like, and she was saying the same thing. She was like, "Look, I don't." She said, "I'm trying to protect you from me. Like,
Oh, hey.
I've been nice. I've been trying to protect you
I'm
from
trying to
you, but
stay that
now,
nice
you
person.
know,
Yeah.
Negro here now.
I put the pause on you, brother.
I'm here. I'm here."
Yeah.
So yeah, man, just like I think that idea of like giving people their flowers while they're living, but also
Yep,
like
yep.
how important it is to be different, like to
Mhm,
to evolve, right? To
mhm.
change. Like that is nature for us to
Yep.
become um different. So and I know in your work you see this too, right? Where um we have some folks, usually baby boomers or older, and there are some folks that are our age that are doing the same and younger. But generally, I experience folks who are older who really struggle with this concept around like microaggressions.
Yeah.
And I think it's because there's this like generation above us where folks were expected to be hard and expected to be and not insensitive, but expected to take up space in a way where they didn't have to think about other people's emotions and their experiences. And that's privilege, right? Men, black men, white men in general, we have had that privilege for a long time
Yep.
in patriarchal societies. And I think people with other privileges have done the same. But now we're starting to realize that the world is bigger than just us. And I think that transmogrification takes a long time, but it is happening.
Mhm.
And I think, um, Trevor Noah made this joke about how I think it's I forget exactly who, but like Joe Biden he just selected like a full women's panel to run, was it
Communication
defense
panels.
communications.
Mhm.
And he was saying like the countries are going to be like, wow, this these American folks have like it's all these really woke women that just bombed us. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's like and like okay, fair, whatever, but it is special, right? It is
It is.
special to see what's happening, man.
These
But he's a
woke folks
fool.
just bombed us. That's funny.
uh, but yeah, man. Anyway, I just think it's important to your point to like give the flowers while people are around, and
Mhm.
then for those folks who are struggling, um, again, like to allow for us, people like us, to create spaces where people can grow and be different. and
Mm-hmm.
where your
Absolutely.
father's morals don't have to be yours.
Yep.
And where the insensitivities of like oppressing women, for example, doesn't have to be the way you run it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I love that. And it's interesting too because what people use as often coping or survival mechanisms of the past don't work for today often, you
Mm,
know. And so
mm,
one thing, we're living longer, but we're also seeing how we as a culture, thanks to technology, we're able to see and hear diverse stories, diverse lived experiences. So
mm,
where
mm.
I grew up in small town Winterville, North Carolina, 252 stand up, if I had stayed in Winterville and never had access to the internet, that small town way of thinking,
Oh yeah.
where we are trying to, we wouldn't have known that there were things that were possible outside of what was in front of us, and so as we see technology, really building bridges for us to find and form identity of self, I think
Mm,
is very powerful. And we're not getting paid by Clubhouse, so I don't want to talk about Clubhouse too much, but the platform is very audio based.
yeah.
And it's an interesting concept because I'm talking to Black people in the United Kingdom a lot.
Mm,
And there's a conversation going on, around Blackness and
mm,
what does it mean to be Black in, the United States versus Africa versus the United Kingdom. And we hadn't had this opportunity to have these conversations. And so we can make a lot of assumptions and generalizations, but we have to focus on being able to hear the individual stories. And so from those individual stories, from that individual growth, we can now start to build an understanding of diverse realities of what
yeah.
Blackness is, right?
Oh yeah.
So when I think about being Black, I'm thinking about it from the United States, African American, descendant of American slavery,
Right.
and so I look at what that looks like differently because I've seen, how the systems still affect us in that way. The idea of white supremacy and how that went into redlining, how it went to gentrification, how it's gone into, unfair, prison. We
Hmm.
need the need for prison reform and how we see all that. But in the United Kingdom, I'm hearing stories where they say, listen, another thing too is, we both got on boats. Y'all just ended in the United States, we ended in
Mm,
the United Kingdom. I
mm,
was like, wow, that was powerful. I never thought about
mm.
what being Black over there looks like, but over here, I know, and from the history, what chattel slavery did to the descendants of our ancestors who were enslaved. I don't know what, the ills of being enslaved or servitude was like over there,
Yeah.
but we can form understanding, and from that I can grow and be like, oh man, was this something that I was conditioned because this is a culturally accepted thing as a method of survival at the time in the United
Mm,
States?
mm.
Or now I get to hear this version, I'm like, oh, I can view it this way because over there, what it means to be Black looks and sounds different.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's just interesting to see, man, with us having access to so much information. I think it's very beneficial that we utilize it to be better allies for one another, even as Black people, to be
Yeah.
better allies for us. Because even when you think about SARS, in SARS in Nigeria, we had no idea what
That's
was
true.
going on in Nigeria. I'm not getting that in the history book. I didn't get my history in my history book, being
Facts.
Black in the United
Facts.
States. But thanks to Instagram and Facebook, I was able to get educated in YouTube on understanding that what was going on in SARS. So again, I don't know how we got on this, but it was about, giving people the flowers, connecting, what Blackness looks like.
Yeah, that's good.
And all this is hip hop. All of this is still hip hop. And so that's why we had to touch on something. I guess the state of hip hop for us is the state of our culture. And that's
Right.
not even, not even just music related, but it's just a way of life.
Bro,
It's the
low key, the
fire.
UK got some hip hop artists too, bro.
Bruh, yo,
Low
they're
key.
bruh. They
Low
got a
key.
couple. They got a couple that I rock with. I mean, it's cool. I'm liking the flow. I'm liking to see International Drake is doing kind of touching on all forms of rap and how he does grime and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah. I think Dizzy Rascal, I think is from Britain. I don't know if you remember him or not. Um and what's the dude named Stormzy? That's his name. I've
Yeah,
seen him on a couple
Stormzy's
tracks.
fire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Bro. So um we were talking a little bit about this whole like versus battles, and I don't know how much we want to get into this, but more important than like which versus battles have happened.
Okay.
Like I'm thinking, so for those who might not know, right, these versus battles have been, I think, a response to people being kind of on kind of this quarantine. That's what we're calling it, at least,
Yep.
right? Like being stuck in the house, bored in the
Mhm.
house, bored in the house, bored. Um, and you know, I think what happened, I think it was Swiss Beats and Timberland, right?
Yep.
And they decided that they were gonna contact some artists and see if they're able to like kind of have their catalogs kind of go up against each other to see who, you know, see who has a better catalog. I don't think we've really like ranked, like, kind of crowned any winners, like, you know, per
It's a
se. But
celebration, not a versus.
there we go. There we go. Some more celebrations. So some of the examples, which I didn't even realize some of these, I was telling you earlier, I didn't realize Jagged Edge and 112 had gone up against each other. Their boy Jay said only two of the 12
Two
were
of them,
there.
bro.
He
Two of the
said
twelve.
only two of the
I was
12,
like, bro, I see why
bro.
y'all broke up. Y'all cannot keep it together. I see.
Fun fact, right? I think I might have mentioned this before. I don't know, but fun fact. I remember my boy Jason Dempsey, right? He did that beat with the 112,
Mhm.
the 112 joint on there.
Shout out to
Slim had
Dempsey,
commented on
man.
it.
Yeah,
Shout
logo.
out,
Fire.
shout out to Jay Demps,
Bam,
man.
bam, bam,
So,
bam.
so we got to get that button, dog, and push it.
Get it.
But you know, the like Dempsey had done a beat or whatever for, and Slim had commented. I had commented too, and seeing this 112 versus, I was mad because, again, fun fact, I was in a 112 cover like group, dog. I was in a 112 cover singing group, dog. For like, bro, for like, was it? Did it start middle school? It might have started like in 8th grade,
He's in the 8th grade singing Peaches and Cream.
bro. Well, Peaches and Cream won't out yet, but, but yes, dog. Like, and I remember going to me and my two homies, man, at the time, Suli Thong and Stephen Penn, dog. Like, we called ourselves diverse because one of my homeboys was
I
black and
remember you telling me
Mexican,
about that.
one was Cambodian, Laotian, and I'm black.
Look at the inclusion. Look at the inclusion.
Bro, big time.
The
And dog,
112 cover band.
I won't ever
Uh-huh.
forget, dog. I wish we had photos of this. We all wore white t-shirts, right? We had on blue jeans, but we but we had on different accessories. So like one of us had on like a wristband, you know, the little white basketball. One of us had on a headband. One of us had on a visor.
Yeah, I was walking around here looking like the Hood Ninja Turtles. Okay,
Bro,
continue.
dog, we did a show. We did a show one time. I think it was on a base, I think, in Virginia.
Army
Oh,
base, a
bro,
Navy
it
base.
was a talent show, dog. We went into the crowd. We were
Wait,
singing to
y'all was
girls.
a legit traveling
Bro,
cover
it
band.
won't traveling far, but you know, it
Hey
was
man,
crazy. It was crazy. We did all the songs, dog, all the 112 songs. It was just our jam. My boy Sudi sounds just like Slim. The boy can sing.
wait a
So,
minute. First
it's
off,
crazy,
what, bro? You was in a cover band?
bro.
Only 112. Y'all was only performing
112. It
112
was
songs.
three of us. It was three of us. 112. Dog. It was funny, and we had
I,
a good time.
I wish I could find some footage of that, man.
Man, that would be so good to find. I don't know if anybody had any footage. Thank God.
Fam, this man said it was a 112 cover band. I've never heard that before, but that's great.
It was dope. It was dope. It was dope. We did our thing. But anyway, so that was one of the verses.
I know that was a special verses for you. You gotta go find that if you didn't see it, bro. It was good.
I need to, dog, because we sang all of them.
It could have been better if everybody was there, you know. And so that's the thing. It's like if you can get everybody to show up together, yeah, I think the verses are pretty good for the bands, for the groups. Man, I think trying to think what was my favorite. Man, I don't know, man. I'm gonna tell you that Jeezy Gucci, bruh.
Okay.
So growing up,
Okay.
I wasn't the biggest Gucci fan.
Agreed.
As I've gotten older, I have because the good thing about Gucci is he stayed relevant. He's a great identifier of talent, and he's never left his people. So he's cultivated a lot of talent in Atlanta as well, right?
Okay.
So his newest, like I was able to pick back up, and I've seen his growth, and I was like, I like this, and then that allowed me to listen to his old stuff, and I'm like, this dude's really talented.
Okay.
Bruh, now growing up, I was hand painting snowman t-shirts, like I was selling white, like I was because I used to make clothes and would be hand painted stuff, right?
What?
So no one could afford the corporate clothes, so they would pay me, you know, if it's $12 if you had the shirt, or the hoodie. It'd be $20 if I had to buy the cheap Hainsworth from Walmart. If you want a hoodie, it'd be $25. And so I'd be
What?
hand painting snowmen, your favorite artists, your album titles and lyrics. Bruh.
Dog.
So when them Jeezy lines were dropping, I was like, I'm running around the house, me and my wife. We like, I
Yo.
was the man in these streets. Bruh.
Yo.
That
You a fashion
battle-
designer, dog, as a
Oh,
child?
absolutely, bro. My senior project was clothing design. I know how to sew. I know how to make my own. I
What?
got clothing pieces in the closet, bro.
So you are a black-owned business.
Nigga, I'm a businessman. I'm not a businessman. I'm a
Come on.
businessman. Come on,
on.
bro. Side hustles out there. Boy, listen, let me tell you. Here's a secret too, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of money for like clothes and sneakers like that, right? You know, that's why now it's like this is this is a repayment back to the hard work, right?
Yeah.
So rather than trying to get all the latest Nikes, then that I knew I couldn't afford, you know, I was paying for my car insurance and gas, you know, and sneakers and cleats for like football and stuff like that.
Right.
I would go to Walmart and get the joints with the straps and all the sneakers and joint like that.
Yeah.
I'd take a little needle pen and I'd poke out all the threads and make sure it didn't have the ugly logos on it. And then I would just customize my own shoes. And so like it would look like I did it on purpose. Like it was me being a designer versus out of necessity to not be able to afford the expensive Nikes, bro.
That is cool.
Yeah, man. So I probably had some snowman shoes and everything, bro. Corporate thugging, man. Listen, Jeezy, that battle. First off, I don't know about you. Did you see the battle?
I watched it, man. I haven't really gotten into it. I've tried, but I'm not a good versus watcher, dog. I'm not good at it. I'm just not good at it.
So there was one part of that battle that I was really nervous.
Okay.
When Gucci played the song "The Truth" about you know his diss track or response to when allegedly, you know, Jeezy's camp may have, you know, sent some people to come kill Gucci, and he defended himself and killed one of them in self-defense. And so the song was about that.
That's pretty intense, bro.
It is pretty intense. So that wasn't scripted. And so that's where I was like, yo, this is about to be interesting. I mean, you look at a guy's body language, he got his back to the camera, he's facing Jeezy. So this whole thing, the reason why people didn't expect this to happen was because this has been an ongoing unresolved situation where no one has given the olive branch to say, squash this. So when this happened, you know, he's talking about, you know, tonight we smoking on your dead homie. You know, you send some more killers, I'll send them back to you in a casket. Like, people didn't understand that this versus battle could have gone left so fast. Like
in a real battle. Like what?
Yes. So, you know, Jeezy, that's why that speech where he was like, I brought, you know, kind of extended the olive branch. I reached out to you like a man. We are the culture, which a part of this is why I wanted to bring this into the conversation about the state of hip hop, right? And he mentioned, you know, we're seeing the killing of King Von, the killing of, you know, Pop Smoke. Like, we are the culture. So we can do this. We can either, it was kind of like, we can continue to have the same beef, this unresolved beef for forever, or we can like extend the olive branch, be men about it.
Okay.
And, you know, and that's why them concluding with So Icy with the both of them up there, because that's where that beef started, you know, who owned the record, who owned the track, it was recorded together.
Okay.
That evolved into just some, all this beef usually starts at something small and just evolves over time. And so this was a symbolization of, oh, wow, like they can do it. And so for them to all go to the Compound Club afterwards together, there's still no violence. It was just a good space where I've seen verses continue to, one, provide us something we need during quarantine,
right?
But also have a cultural influence that helped, in this case, model that we can be grown men about things. We can talk about things. We can have some issues, but we could still be alive. We can still talk them out, you know?
That's dope.
And yeah, and so that's why that battle was like, woo, boy.
See, I didn't understand all that. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, man. Now we'll talk about this later, but when they went to that club in at the Compound, I didn't see not one mask.
Man, Atlanta, I'm about tired of Atlanta, bro. Like, I lived in Atlanta for 7 years, and I'm tired of Atlanta. I'm tired of Miami. I'm tired of all of Florida, because I feel like I'm tired of Arizona. I'm tired of all these places, bro. As a COVID survivor, Come on, bro.
They got the
Like,
vaccine. They
look,
have to. They don't. They gotta have the vaccine,
bro,
man.
bro,
I
bro. I
got it.
got friend, bro. Like, and the vaccine's rolling out. Like, I don't know if you know, but it's like rolling out for real. In a matter
Yeah,
of weeks, we'll have people walking around vaccinated. Weeks, bro.
yeah,
Weeks.
yeah.
Like, and what I'm afraid of, and I
Mm-hmm.
know we're gonna talk about this now. What I'm afraid of, bro, is that the vaccine, people are gonna see as a proxy to masks. So what's
Mm-hmm.
going to happen is, I had coronavirus, and there's rumor that, well, so far there are very few cases of folks who had, kind of uh, like had coronavirus again in 90 days. And they're also like, I can't tell between the 90-day and 6-month window, like what the research is saying, but 90 days for sure, right? There's been very few people reported. Um, but I ain't walking out here with no mask on. I ain't out here like, oh, cool. I was in the gym the other day, bro, and I'm in there, and we used to have the signs on every other machine, right? And now they ain't got them on there. No, it's one machine with a sign. It's 5 ellipticals to my left.
Mm-mm.
I'm chilling. There's one between me and this dude roll up
Mm-mm.
right next to me, right?
Breathe right on your neck.
You know what I'm saying? And he just
Yeah, just
he
super
going.
spreading.
And I'm like, bro, like I'm right here, right? And I'm looking at the dude. I'm like, and so then the woman, 2 people over to me, she get done with hers, and I give him like a, and I grab my towel and I go all the way to the side, dog. I'm mad. I'm like,
Yeah,
why
you
you want to
should
be
be.
next to me, bro?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm thinking, but I'm also being aware of this. I live in Tennessee. It's a red state.
Mm.
And I don't know all the demographics and the research around it, but I do know that there are people who were Trump supporters who also were anti-maskers, as we put it.
Yes.
So I'm thinking I might be the stranger in this room. I might be the only person in here, or one of the few people who,
Concerned about
like
wearing a mask.
concerned about wearing a mask, concerned
Yeah.
about living,
Yeah.
and more important than me, right, is spreading
Mm-hmm.
like coronavirus to people unawares.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, come on, bro, like put a mask on.
Yeah.
Atlanta, I'm tired of seeing friends who at the club still been at the
Bruh,
club the whole pandemic. 8, 9, 10 months. Been in the
ain't nothing
club in
changed.
Atlanta. Nothing
No,
changed.
look,
Club's
bruh,
full. Club's
look.
packed.
How? I don't understand it. I don't get it, bro. Listen, my mom lives in Atlanta, and
Right.
I was sitting here. I was like, I know when Thanksgiving comes, I know Christmas and a holiday. She lives in, a nice apartment, but that's a ton of people there. So even her just going to the grocery store once a week, she touching handles, she touching doors, she
Yeah,
touching
facts.
elevator buttons,
Facts.
and the shared circulation, from
Mm,
air conditioning and heating, right? So you just
right.
it's a space, it's an incubator for people for that stuff to spread. Bruh, I got my mom out of there about a week before Thanksgiving. Got her a
Mm,
one-way flight here, like a
mm.
Thursday morning. There was like 3 people on the plane. So she is in Dallas, bro. We have been blessed to be able to get her
It's
home. We
cool.
have the space. And so she's here, and we don't know till how long, but
It's
we
dope.
probably through the holidays.
It's
But
dope.
yeah, man, it's not worth it, man. People are tripping. People are tripping.
Wow.
Like,
Wow for the night.
yo, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm glad to see Jeezy and Gucci made it to the compound, no violence. But
Yes.
also, so I saw a meme that was like history was made tonight. And somebody commented on the Twitter feed was like, yes, coronavirus made history that night too. So I'm like, yes.
Yeah,
We gotta do better. We
bro.
gotta do better
Bro.
because we're getting hit the worst, bro. But
So we were also talking, bro, in addition to Jeezy and Gucci, we were talking about Young Boy.
yeah, you gotta keep me updated with Young Boy, bro, because I don't
Right.
know what's going on. I've seen some things a while back, but I kind of
Yeah.
haven't. I don't. So what's going on with NBA Young
So
Boy,
so first of all, I didn't know who a Young Boy NBA was.
man?
Um, but my nephew, same one as going to A&T, he keep me tight on music.
Hmm.
Now I will say that my nephew be listening to some weird stuff.
He
And
like that little
so
Wayne though.
I mean,
He's
that's
like
true.
our Wayne, where they were like,
Exactly. That's exactly true. They say
what?
Lil Baby's supposed to be the
Yeah,
Wayne
I've
right
heard that.
now, but
Okay.
that's because of the amount of features he's doing, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? He's out in the
Ah,
streets.
okay, okay.
Young Boy ain't doing as many features. He got an album came out recently with somebody. But my nephew been putting me on different artists. Young Boy is his favorite artist, like across the board. And when I listen to Young Boy, I'm like, I can understand. Like it's good music. I like,
Hmm.
I like where he going with it. I personally think Lil Baby personally is like my like current rapper, like newer artist. Lil Baby's it for me. Like
Yeah,
he
he got
he got it
snubbed with the Grammys too, bro.
big time,
But that's
big
a whole
time,
nother. That
big
whole.
time.
Yeah, I'm
But
sorry.
but he
Yeah.
got it. Young Boy is 20, right? I think I don't want to misspeak here. Actually, I don't really care, but
I ain't know he get his podcast.
right. Get them
Kill them
podcasts.
podcasts.
Kill them podcasts.
We don't want no bullets. We don't want no
That
bullets.
young boy, according to the sun.com, as of September 28th, has 4 sons, 1 daughter, and another daughter on the way. He's got 6 children, and he is 20 years old, bruh. I I ain't no young boy. I ain't got young boy money. I ain't got young boy clout. I ain't got young boy swag. I ain't got none of that. I'm 35. I got 0. And I ain't saying that's accomplishment. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying young boy out here wilding.
He ain't wearing something other than mask. I can tell you that much. Some other stuff he ain't wearing, but okay.
Yeah,
all right,
exactly.
Maybe that's socioeconomic privilege I don't know about.
It may be.
I ain't got the bands to be walking like that. I like every dollar.
But to your point, right? Maybe there is a privilege we have that other folks don't have, which is they say that people who have more education, number one, are less likely to be into religion, which is a whole different conversation for another time as to why that happens. But number two, are less likely to have children, have less children. And the reason is because we think it through. We go, okay, well, having 5 kids costs money. And with him, he's got number 6 on the way. So number 6 is Yaya Mayweather.
Oh, Floyd Mayweather's daughter. Yeah, I've been seeing the interwebs talk about some of this.
And so this is important, right? Because of course, people want to talk to Floyd. Floyd is an intelligent businessman.
Floyd gonna punch him in the face.
What's wild is they interviewed, I forget who it was, interviewed Floyd recently. And Floyd, it was the Breakfast Club, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think. And Floyd had something to say about it.
Oh.
Very publicly.
All right.
He said he's a young man. Like, and this young man is doing, he's kind of living his life. But what I do with my children is I try to prepare my kids to succeed. And then I trust that what I put in them, they'll be able to do. So if she's pregnant by this young man, there must be a reason, why she likes the young man. And of course, I'm going to provide for my children and the like. But I think Young Boy had something negative to say about Floyd. I can't remember what, but he kind of took a shot at him, sort of. And his response was, "He's a child. Like, of course he thinks that way. He's a kid, right?" And like, no shade. He was really serious about making sure to understand ain't no beef there or what have you. But
I already know where it's going. Go ahead, continue.
He's a kid. But that's what's funny is that was it. That was it.
Oh, I just knew you was about to say a Floyd man with a diss track came.
Well, as far as Floyd's concerned, I don't know what Young Boy responded.
Okay.
All I know is that Floyd, and it's weird, right? Because we've seen Floyd be, personally, I think we've seen Floyd be rather immature over his lifetime, even like later in his years. Say stuff he probably shouldn't say. Like he's not. I think he's a smart businessman, but sometimes he can kind of say things that maybe you shouldn't say. In this situation, he sounded like a grown ass man.
Need that time, man.
Bro.
We need that time. Like, bro, even we didn't get to talk about it yet, but the Tyson fight. I didn't see the Tyson fight, but I saw the post interview. And to see and hear his growth was it's kind of the same thing. The entertainer, what got you there to that space, they've now had time to kind of sit back and understand and learn and grow. And now hand that down. Like, that's beautiful. Because old Floyd would have been swinging like him and T.I. back in the day, right? So to hear that is like good. And that's being a father. He's trying to. I don't know what his personal life is like, but I do know whatever you put out into the internet, that's very important. People gonna get it. So for him to take that approach and be like, he's a child, take the high road, not, be on no macho, like bang, bang, shoot him up. Like, I touch you with the defense,
right.
Like just be able to leave it at that. That allows another conversation to be had with him, with his daughter and his soon to be grandchildren.
Yeah. Right. Wild. I want us to come back to Floyd and maturity, because we're going to talk about masculinity. But before we do, dog, Lil Wayne and Tekashi.
Now, what do they, again, I don't know how I missed it. So after Wayne endorsed Trump, his platinum plan, I was like, all right.
Bro.
Alright. So I ain't even listened to No Ceilings 3
Bruh.
yet. I did listen to one track. I listened to
Oh,
75% of it. It was the BB King freestyle because Drizzy's on it. But I ain't heard the rest of any of it. So I don't know what's
mhm.
going on with Wayne and Takashi. This is an interesting,
Um,
I don't know.
I'm an old man, um, because um, hmm, uh, because Takashi is the wrong rapper, because all of them look alike to me. Um, Lil Pump, pardon me.
Oh, bro, I
Um,
thought that's what I was like. I was like, what is Takashi and
the
Wayne?
same
We're looking at our
person.
show notes. We have, looking like what?
They're the same
Okay,
person.
so Wayne and
They're the
Pump.
same person.
I know this part. Okay, good. All right, continue, sir.
They're the same person. I'm sorry. I don't care what anyone says. I know one of them's a rat and one of them's not, but like they're the same person. In
Yeah,
fact, I think I conflated them because what Lil Pump was doing is the type of thing I expected Takashi to do.
yeah. It's the same. It's clickbait marketing. That you don't have to necessarily have great music, but it's about attention grabbing. That's all it is. Grab the
bro,
attention. Yeah.
bro. So we know that, the thing that him and Wayne have in common, they both endorse Trump, right? Which
Hmm.
I imagine they must feel real dumb now, unless they got a big check to do it. And actually, as an aside, Boosie made a comment. Um, and again, it's like, is Boosie a reputable source? I don't know. But he was asked in an
You
interview
part of
about
hip
how
hop? Sure. Let's talk
he,
about it.
he is, but he was asked in an interview about Little Wayne endorsing Trump, what he thought about it. Like, this is your homeboy from Louisiana. How you feel about it? He was like, oh, Wayne is he's rich, and before he's black, he's rich. So I don't make no sense to me. It does make sense that he would side with kind of being upset about higher taxes on the rich because he's rich. And I'm like, and he said through Wayne's career, if you look at it, that's kind of his approach, and we've seen other semblances of that in the past. So,
You're absolutely right.
bro, it's facts. It's big facts,
He been rich since 13.
bro. He been rich forever.
My biggest issue with Wayne was like, bro, by the time he was in his 20s, I was like, you've been rapping longer than you was supposedly trapping because even if you was trapping when you was 8 years old,
Facts.
between 8 and 12, that's only a good 4, maybe 5 years. So it's like if you're only talking about drugs and
Right.
killing folks, it's like Wayne, where you at?
Wait,
Like
wait.
you're too good of
Small
a
child.
lyricist to not have expanded
Yeah.
what you're talking about. You're too rich.
And
Uh,
I hate admitting this. I've been a Wayne fan for a long time.
Same.
So I am kind of, I mean, just to be honest, the whole Trump thing, I kind of was like, well, No Ceilings 3 is coming up. So I might listen with a different kind of ear.
Was that promo for No Ceilings 3?
I mean, if I'm getting paid for it, then yes.
No, I meant was a Trump endorsement
Ah,
promo for No Ceilings 3.
ah, it brought some
It could
attention to
have
Wayne.
it got him a lot of mainstream people who never knew who Lil Wayne was.
Very good point. Very good point.
We got some Trumpers to download No Ceilings.
Oh, absolutely. That's a good point. And remember who's buying these
Lil Pump
albums?
too. You're right.
Lil
It's
Pump.
not us.
And my nephew, my other nephew, Bam, he told me that he gonna hate me for calling him Bam, but whatever. Bam told me
He gonna roll
that
up on you.
Lil Pump, he big too now, dog. Like, there's this game we
Yeah.
play when I go home and I like punch him in the arm. We punch each other back and forth and see
Come
whoever
on,
stops.
Frog.
Yeah, exactly. I've been
Yeah.
lighting them up over the years. This last time, he taller than me now, about 6'1", 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
And I'm punching him, going back and forth. I won, but I hurt.
He gonna beat
I hurt
your ass.
bad.
Yeah.
Whole arm
Oh
was
yeah.
hurting.
Bro,
Little red.
yeah, the way you figure out who won back when we was growing up was who got the lump, that little frog lump on there. Now that we know that's a tricep and you just
Bro.
damaged your muscle. Boy, you better
I
stop
think,
trying to be young. I'm old, man.
bro. The other way we know who won is who the other person quit. So we
Mm-hmm.
just punch until somebody say, "All right, that's enough. I'm hurting enough." And so me and him, we go at it. But it hurt, man. He grow anyway. So he told me that Lil Pump has been falling off because that used to be his favorite rapper. But he's been falling off. So he think that had something to do with the whole Trump thing.
Well, I
Um,
definitely the prophet J. Cole
hmm,
called
hmm.
this out. on his
Mm-hmm.
last album.
You're right about that, bro.
That was about Pump.
Dang, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that was on KOD. That was Pump. He's talking about. Because remember, he was doing the whole FJ Cole, again, attention grabbing type stuff. Yeah,
Hmm.
bro. Yeah, bro. Trying to find the name of the song. It might be the Fall Off. KOD's the last track. It's the outro.
Wow.
1985 intro into the Fall Off. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah,
Wow.
he was talking about, in a year, all these people, I hope you get your money from tour money, but one day that's gonna dry up. COVID
Yeah,
happened.
exactly. I
The
remember that.
prophet called it. And he
Wow.
said these white kids ain't gonna be listening to you like that no more. And then you're gonna be
Wow.
stuck. And you're
Wow.
gonna be trying to get on Love and Hip Hop
Wow.
or on a presidential ticket. So
Wow. Wow.
wow. Yeah. Well, actually, bro, your punch me until it hurts and I have to quit is a perfect segue into masculinity.
Oh man, what an amazing bridge. 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 Beautiful bridge, bro.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's interesting, right? I never thought about that. But every time I go home, I make sure to punch my nephew.
Oh, great. Violence.
Yeah. All right, folks. Thanks for
And we're
joining.
done.
No, man, that's a good point.
DSS is like noted. Abusive
I saw a post that said, I want to know who's still feeding their kids turkey from Thanksgiving. I'm asking for CPS.
Okay. Yep.
Duly noted. Duly
Easy
noted.
pickup. Easy pickup. All right.
Bro, so in the way of masculinity, right? That's a good
Mhm.
point. I never thought about it, but maybe that's part of why I go home and me and my nephew get to beating each other up. He's 16, guys. He's 6 foot, at least one, if not two. He's definitely a solid 260-ish, maybe a little bit smaller. Sorry, Bam. But he's a defensive and offensive lineman. Trust me, if anybody's being hurt in that situation, it is Dr. Socks. But it's a game we've played since he was little. And I think, to your point, it has something to do. I never thought about where it came from, but I wonder, the role of my masculinity stuff, like coming in the house and okay, like Uncle Dennis is here. You know what I mean?
Alpha.
Yeah, alpha male, right?
Yeah.
Sigma male. Sorry,
I
Sigma
was
male.
gonna see if he was gonna repeat it. Gotcha. I'm gonna get that little clickbait. Be like, ha, alpha male. Yeah.
Whatever. So,
Continue.
so
I'm sorry.
and so to that point around masculinity, right? Sometimes, I mean, I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but I feel like sometimes masculinity and immaturity are analogous, if not synonyms.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. It's the proving that you're like the proving process, the way we're socialized of like what it means to be a man.
Right.
And that socialization is cultural. So it's based upon, where you are.
Mhm.
What did the men around you, look like? What was the model?
Mhm.
What was the model that was, who modeled that process?
Yeah.
And we always think about when we think about black men,
Mm.
we've had to be hardened and, don't show emotion, don't cry. Anything around
Mm.
femininity
Yeah.
is a sign of weakness. And almost
Mm.
in quitting is getting the other person to show that sign of weakness, with
Uh-huh.
you and your nephew. It's like,
Right.
hi,
Oh yeah.
I'm still alpha, I'm still on top, I'm still the
Yeah.
strongest, you can't hurt me.
Mhm.
And that's interesting because I mean we see that in so many different ways. We're still talking kind of about the state of hip hop, state of us,
Yeah.
and
Oh
just
yeah.
culture right now. But yeah, man, like that's so
Mm.
like, and with the, like you said, the immaturity,
Mm.
not knowing. I think it's kind of forming right now because we talked about like seeing what it looks like as you get older, and we talked about Hove earlier, and
Yeah.
even listening like 444, how he's evolved to be able to talk about what it
Mm.
means to be a man, above the age of 45. Like
Yeah.
now you're seeing, no, it's about mental health, it's about self-care, it's about
Mhm.
overcoming those demons. It's about getting to a space where you're able to break away from what you thought manhood was and become your
Yeah.
own version of the man that you are. That's pretty dope, bro.
Man, becoming. I like that. Like, I was thinking about other like ways to kind of dumb down kind of this toxic unhelpful masculinity. I think you use some really cool words like maturity or immaturity, insecurity. Um, I put stolidity.
Mm,
So to be stolid is to like kind of be like showing little emotion. Um, but I think there's also something in there about kind of like not being willing to change. Like we talked
mm,
about Hove and
mhm,
how he has talked about that throughout the arc of his career,
mhm,
like how important it is to be different. Floyd Mayweather, right? He talked about that as a boxer. Like
mhm.
first 25 or so fights, he was knocking people down. Seeing Ali and the struggles that he had with
Yeah.
as a result of the fights that he had. So he realized, okay, if I shift toward business and shift away from getting hit and hitting, I might actually live a long life. And there's still interviews happening. This last week, I think I saw an interview about him talking about like, I am about business right now. So I am not willing to fight a boxer, not at this point in my life. I went 50 and I did what I had to do.
Mhm.
Um, and so but being willing to change, I think
Yeah.
um, is like hard, right? For at least for me as a black man, I feel oftentimes the need to be the constant so that my partner and maybe other people around me can be like can move and do what they need to do to be free, if you
Yeah.
will, and I stay the same. I need to be the constant that folks can depend on,
The Rock.
the rock. But there's
Mhm.
definitely some negative parts of being rock like, you
Mm,
know. And so I think like the need for men to evolve
mm.
is long overdue. And that's why I kind of wrote down, about Uzi and Yachty. Like I'm not a fan of Yachty's music. Never been a fan of the way he raps. Uzi, I'm a big fan of. I think he's got some cool stuff going. But one thing I think they have in common is they challenge, much like Jaden, they challenge like the the normal bar for what masculinity can look like. I mean,
Right, right.
we're talking like way out there, right? We're talking about colorful hair, we're talking about piercings all over the face, we're talking, painted nails,
Mhm,
things
mhm.
that are very different than what I grew up with in the way
Mm.
of, what is masculine.
Right,
Um, Uzi's a pretty short guy, so there might, he's not a very big, he hasn't felt the need to like buff up, right? And kind of
right.
to show his chest, and I think that's interesting because that communicates as icons in their era, that communicates something to our young men
Mhm.
that it might communicate a lot of different things, but one of the many things that will go unnoticed is that it communicates that you don't have to fit only one mold in order to be
Right.
masculine.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Absolutely. And that's and for me, um, that's the true definition of what it means to be masculine, is to own your truths,
mm,
own the things that you like, that you love,
mm,
and make you unique.
mm,
And oftentimes we will overcompensate trying to dispel. And a lot of this, we got to remember, a lot of this hypersexualization, hyper masculinity, a lot of this was driven through the fact that, this is a historical thing still, as a byproduct of slavery. Like, we're
mm,
not, we don't talk about it enough, but I
mm,
mean, if we understand where these things came from, it helps us to make sure we can start to pick apart and fully get the root up out the ground,
mm,
versus just cutting
mhm.
off the leaves and it still
Yeah.
grows back in a couple of years. So understanding that we have the ability to take ownership of our image, of our
Mm,
likeness, of
mm,
of our wants and our needs, and to be able to embrace, like we talked about earlier before we jumped on the podcast, trying to figure out how we were going to talk and navigate this. Um, just the concept that, just the understanding that we have a like percentages of masculinity and femininity and what that looks like, and then
mhm,
understanding that there's a heavy cultural influence, because the things that we may see culturally in the United States as masculine or feminine might have different cultural references
It's
in
true.
in Africa,
It's
in
true.
Europe, in Germany, and Australia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So even understanding, like, we're pulling these definitions of making blanket
Mhm.
statements of what it means to be a man from
It's
having
good.
just a few stories, just a
It's
few of
good.
the things that have been influenced by us, our circles of influence, the men that we've seen in our lives, the men that we've seen in our communities, the men that we've seen on TV. It's a very limited
Hmm.
breath. And what
Yeah.
we're seeing, and I think about, because the folks you're mentioning, like the Uzis and even Thug and even Yachty, like
Hmm.
they're younger, but they grew up with technology. They grew up with YouTube. They
Right.
grew up with SoundCloud. They grew up with Facebook, so
Yeah.
they grew up in those, and they're still growing because they're young in the
Yeah.
developmental years of having exposure to say, I want to look like this. I
Yeah.
want to dress like this. I want to sound like this.
Hmm.
And I think that's dope. I think it's dope. And I think we need more of it. Be who you are and
Hmm.
discover who you are.
Yeah.
And I think a great thing too about us
Mm.
is we're finding that fear of being abandoned and thrown away is starting to go down, because I
Mm.
think that more people are willing to say, I welcome you. I welcome that truth. I welcome that authenticity. You know what I'm saying? I think for a long time, it was the fear of being outed for those things and ostracized and isolated. And now you don't have a connection to people anymore, and you
Wow.
put yourself in this box. So let me just hide it. Let me hide it by overcompensating on how strong, how man I am. I mean, but now it's like, nah, come over here. It's a Facebook group for that. It's an Instagram. It's a podcast for
That's
that.
true.
Like
That's true,
you can
bro.
you can find your community because of technology. And so I think we're going to continue to see,
Mm.
culture evolve at a hyper level,
Yeah.
because we get to pull and build and still find a space and a place.
Mm.
Now, what's interesting too, though, is
Mm.
on the other side of that, on the other side of that pendulum or spectrum,
Mhm.
the people who don't like that and see it as something that's, a negative,
Yeah.
they also are able to have spaces and places that allow them to say these
Interesting.
people and put them on labels and call them all
Interesting.
kinds of things. And
Mm.
so that's another challenge with technology. The same way you can embrace inclusivity, you can also
Mm.
embrace hatred. And so
Exclusivity. Wow.
exclusive, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that could result in violence. And so I think that we're at a pivotal moment. We've seen it with our election, we've seen it with where we are right now being isolated.
Yeah.
That call to come back to humanity. We can have our
Hmm.
differences and we can still be friends and family and loved ones. So I don't know how this is gonna
Wow.
look.
Wow, bro, this is good. I mean, I hadn't thought about it this way. That's really dope, man. One thing that comes up for me is, and I know I've mentioned this. But you watch Blackish,
Do I? Yes.
bro, bro, like,
Bro, I
like,
am him. Like,
bro,
well,
exactly.
like mine is, yeah, yeah.
Except,
Yeah, yeah,
except,
yeah,
we know what it
yeah, yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Except, I got on a fatigue shirt I picked up from Ross or Marshall or somewhere.
Yeah,
That man
yeah.
stay. I mean, Gucci.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, the man, his shoes are crazy. Keeping
Mm-hmm.
Audemars on his
Mm-hmm.
wrist. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it don't make no sense. Like
No,
that, he
it
a
doesn't.
different type of bougie. I ain't got that kind of bougie going. Like,
I'm just talking about just, yeah, like the clip. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The accepts. Yeah,
the
I got
accepts,
you. Yeah.
right? But like you said, I am him. I really there was an episode about I was gonna say Pinot Noir. Um,
Mm.
it was like a black. It was a black group. It was
Yep.
a group of black folks who were like an exclusive group.
Yes.
And by the way, before I get into it, Blackish, if you're listening, ABC, if you're listening, just pull up. Like,
Please.
we love Blackish. It is
Yeah.
honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. My favorite sitcom of all time is Martin, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
This one is creeping up to like number two because
Okay.
it
Okay.
is. I mean, especially where I am in my life right now, I'm looking at these episodes like, bro,
Yeah,
like,
buddy.
but this is serious. This is some, and
Mm-hmm.
it's funny. And
Mm-hmm.
full disclosure, I did not like Anthony Anderson at all. Zero. Could not stand him in Malibu, whatever that joint was.
Was it Malibu Most Wanted?
Malibu's Most Wanted. Couldn't stand him. Like the movie, couldn't
He
stand him.
was
Had like
typecasted, man.
nothing he did I didn't like. And
I
then came
know.
Blackish, and I was like, this
It
man is
was a
very
shift.
talented.
Uh-huh.
This is it. Like, this is the Anthony Anderson that, like, I respect, I understand,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels very genuine, very authentic. And
I
of
was about
course,
to, yep.
Tracy Ellis Ross is a rock
Oh,
star.
fire. What you're saying, kind of to jump on that, I feel like we're finally seeing him. He's been allowed to tell the story that it fits authentically,
Mm,
because
mm,
like when you watch Malibu's Most Wanted, and we've seen other actresses and actors have
yeah.
to take the roles that were given to them as
Mm,
younger artists
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because that's the stories they were allowed to show up in.
True.
And again, we're seeing more inclusive spaces where we can see and hear more stories. And so you can tell that for everyone that's involved, even with Lauren Fishburne
Mm-hmm.
as Pops, like they're
Mm-hmm.
bringing themselves into these roles. So
That's
there's a
true.
lot of pieces of bringing the culture into that role
Yeah.
and be able to do
Yeah.
that in an authentic way and make that character their own in a sense is very powerful, bro. And shout out to
Bro.
Kenya Burris, who is the creator of
Yeah.
that show. It's kind of based off of a version of him and his family.
Mm-hmm.
And then Black AF, is more he's
Right.
playing himself in the
Yeah.
Netflix version of Blackish.
Right.
He didn't want another actor to have to kind of play the other version, kind of like the 10 years later version of what we would see from Blackish. But
Yeah.
to be able to have the power to be able to tell those stories, authentically is fire, bro.
Bro, but a major for me, a major part of his story that like I was in the house, Bae, she don't really watch it like that, but I'm crazy about it, right? So
Hmm.
she was out of town for a couple of days, and I was just blackish, 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 just like
Hmm.
so.
Hmm.
And I'm watching it, man, and I'm noticing like how there was an episode with him and the whole like black group, and they talk about like how he was there, he was really accepted, he really fit the mold of like being this
Hmm.
black bougie person.
Talking about
Um,
golf and all that good stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
all that stuff. And then
kids are
Charlie,
playing together. Hmm.
Dion Cole, right? Charlie pulls up
Brilliant.
and he wild. He had on a wife beater, he had a tank
Hmm.
top, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
He had on some
Hmm.
weird looking pants, and he was good at golf.
Think he had a Corona or a Heineken.
Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm.
He kept asking him about the cognac, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then, Anthony Anderson was like, yo, like we need to have him, Charlie, become part of the group. And he was like,
Hmm.
oh nah, he can't, he
He
can't,
ain't like us.
he ain't like us, right?
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
eventually Anthony Anderson leaves the group. Fast
Hmm.
forward a couple episodes, him and Junior, his son, they're talking about stuff, and he's noticing that Junior's starting to excel without him.
Hmm.
And so my point here is that like one, there's that exclusivity piece, right? He kind of opted out because he didn't want to be exclusive. That's what
Hmm.
the guy said. He said, how are you expecting to be a part of something exclusive if you are not willing to exclude? And I was like,
Mm.
ouch. Like that is an interesting point.
Mm.
And so Anthony Anderson opted out of that because he felt like he needed to be more inclusive, especially of his friend. And then, later there are all these times in the show in which Anthony Anderson's insecurity pops up. And those are like my favorite moments. Same thing with Martin, right? Where Martin was like, on the bed arguing with Gina, step, get out of here. And
Mommy.
and then she would delete like Gina, Gina, Gina,
Yeah.
Gina, Gina, right? Gina, 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 right? Just come back. Right? And it's like that again, what we're doing, what I'm hoping what the writers are attempting to do, but at least what the actors are portraying is black men, we have this insecurity. It's just hard for us sometimes to be vulnerable,
Hmm.
um, and for a myriad reasons.
Hmm.
But there's this like this struggle. I know I have for sure. Like man, like to be vulnerable, and then there are like levels to it, right? Like to be
Hmm.
very vulnerable to the
Hmm.
point where I can tell you, hey, I'm feeling this way, or like this is what I'm struggling with, or hey, son, like I see you growing and you're leaving me behind, and that makes daddy
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah.
Um, and so again, like there's this development, this ever developing personhood
Mm.
that might be imperative or inherent to masculinity. Um, yeah, man.
I love that, man. I love it. And you bring up some really good points, man. You could definitely tell there's a lot of thought put into how do we have these conversations, and how do we have these conversations for an audience that's probably black, but also for an audience that's not black to
Mm,
form understanding where they're not kind of looking at us and getting the wrong, like they provide a lot of historical context, they provide a lot of
mm,
understanding of the systems that have allowed us or have conditioned us to act a certain way, um out of, like I said, mechanisms of survival often, so a lot of the stuff that they talk about, like the Juneteenth episodes, when they talk about voting rights, when they would talk about, what it means to be, a black person today, and they do it very well, very tastefully, where I've often recommended to people who want to know a little bit more about a certain topic that's
mm,
not black to
mm-hmm.
watch certain episodes and then come back to me and we have a dialogue about it.
That's dope. That's dope,
Because I ain't got time to educate you on what it means to be black.
bruh.
But this is something that I enjoy, and I can use that as a case study to have some conversations. Now,
Mm,
again, I have to preface because his character also is an extreme version
Yes.
of the thoughts and emotions that we have. And that's something that we have to make sure we're telling people, because people will take his character as a whole truth of what it means to be a black man. Like
True.
it's exaggerated on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so it's so we can blatantly see what this action is, what
Mm-hmm.
the topic is that they're trying to address,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the negative effects of that thought or
Yeah.
behavior.
Yeah.
So the key thing is you gotta have a conversation. Like that's not the one, like that it's a elevated version because it
Yeah.
is a comedy. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like, so
No,
if
good
it was,
point.
yeah, so but I like it, man. I think they do a great job of navigating those
Yeah, yeah,
conversations,
yeah.
bro. And
Bro,
yeah,
I know. I'm
yep.
thinking, I also, you're absolutely right. I think a lot of the characters are caricatures. I think Ruby, the mom, like
Hmm.
reminds me a lot of growing up around some black women.
Yeah, that's
And
aunties. Yeah, aunties are
definitely, man. And we
the
know that
older aunties. Ooh, yeah.
she's an exaggeration as well, some of the
Hmm.
stuff, and to
Hmm.
your point. And like his boss, right, the white man, like, Steven Leo or whoever he is, like,
Yeah, yeah,
we know he's also an exaggeration of,
yeah.
kind of sexist white men, who don't really understand a whole lot of times. So
Yeah.
um we need to make sure before we end today, bro, that we give folks some snacks.
Hmm.
um
Hmm.
and I know we've covered a lot of different topics today. It feels like we've kind of landed on kind of hip hop and masculinity. I
Hmm.
really think that's cool. But one of the things I don't want us to miss, and I know I've said it already, wear a mask. Wear a mask.
First snack of the day, wear a mask.
First snack.
Yes.
Put it on.
Please. Please. And
I
cover
don't
your
care.
nose. Let me tell you,
Cover your
proper
nose
coverage
too.
of the mask doesn't go right here, just over the mouth. Cover the nose.
Cover
If
your
your
nose,
nose is exposed, if I see your nostrils, you're
bro.
breathing on me.
You breathe, and you're not breathing, just breathing on me. You breathing in whatever's in the air.
Yeah.
See, this is what people don't understand. This is what I've been thinking about the gym, right? This is why I try to
Science.
go early in the morning, right?
Hmm.
Because of this. Let's say you just finished on the treadmill, but you
Hmm.
breath huffing and puffing, doing your
Naturally.
thing, getting
Hmm.
it in, because you got to
Hmm.
breathe, right?
You got to.
Then you walk away, you spray down the machine.
Mm.
Guess what's still floating around the treadmill?
Your stink breath.
Your breath. And if you got coronavirus, guess what? Your virus is
Your
just
COVID breath. Your
just
VN
floating,
breath.
just floating, just waiting, just flying, waiting for the next person. Come here,
Mm-hmm.
gotcha. So,
Mm-hmm.
but and the same thing goes for the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing goes for anywhere you walk in. That's why your auntie, your cousin, them when they got coronavirus and they in the house. That's why the CDC is saying wear a mask in the house. If if you are in public or in gatherings of people inside indoors, you wearing a mask because the air has less places to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so if you're outdoors, we know hot air rises. So if you're outdoors, the likelihood that that's going to transmit directly to another person that's further than 6 feet away is lower. So that air is going to go up, right? But in the house, it's going to go up and then hang around, chill.
Mm-hmm.
You in the house with your cousin that got COVID, has been at the club in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
been in Miami chilling
Mm-hmm.
in the club, down at these places. And now you walk in the house and y'all breathing each other. God forbid you kiss. It's over. It's over.
Yeah.
Keep your breath to yourself. Wear a mask. Okay.
Absolutely. And wash your hands. We don't never, I didn't think we had as much of a problem. I'm glad to see that people were running out of soap because people started washing their hands the way they
Great.
should.
Great.
Appreciative of that. Keep doing it.
Mhm.
Keep some hand sanitizer on you. But also remember when you're wearing your mask, don't touch around your face because whatever's on your hand, you're putting
Mm.
into your face. So
Yes.
be cognizant of understanding that everything is like transference. It's either you're breathing it in or it could be transference from what if you touched it and then touched the door handle and put on your mask and that's all on your face.
Yes.
So just be thinking about how you move. And
Wash them
I know
hands. Absolutely.
it's been over 10 months and we can get frustrated and tired but we got to practice discipline right now. We are at, it's getting colder. So that means more people are going to be indoors. We're
Mhm.
getting closer to the holiday season. So people are going to want to see their family and friends.
Thanks.
Please be safe so that, your greedy Christmas isn't a very dark new year.
Mm.
So
Mm.
just I
Mm.
understand, like, but utilize your platforms. Zoom has been amazing.
Yes.
I think on Thanksgiving they gave everybody a free account for that day, so it could be
Yeah.
longer than an hour.
Mhm.
Utilize Facebook, Google Hangouts, Instagram video, like connect digitally. You can still have that connection. It might not feel the same, but for Thanksgiving, bro, we both of our families we set up a Zoom room my wife and
Mm,
my family, set up
mhm.
a Zoom room. We left it open all day. So if
It's
anybody
fire.
want to jump on, they could, and
Mm,
it was just on. And so if you felt alone, you can
mm,
still have that way to connect. And so
mm.
please,
Should
y'all,
have done that. That's good.
just be careful. Just be careful.
Second thing, switching up a little bit, Jay. Stay
Mm-hmm.
open-minded, people. This
Mm,
is kind of the take-home message
mm-hmm.
for if there is a title or topic for today. It's about being open-minded, right?
Mm-hmm.
The men. I think one of the things that we have done over the years is try to further perfect some things. So our minds have gotten more and more closed. And I'm hoping what we're learning from our millennials, especially those that are younger than me, is that like open-mindedness um,
Mm-hmm.
offers some really cool opportunities.
Yeah.
Um, it is kind of I think the catalyst, or at least like kind of the launching pad for inclusion is when
Mm,
people are able to be open-minded.
that's
So
right.
stay open and challenge. I always say this as well, like question what you were taught. I know as a child I was taught the opposite, like don't question stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Especially being in the church, this is what you should learn, and learn this only, and don't you question nothing, don't you ask about who Buddha is, don't you ask about Zoroastrianism, don't you think about
Yeah.
some of these other religions. And what I've learned as an adult is, number one, um, that these religions probably have a lot in common.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I look at the world and the universe now, because I've learned so much about religion in general, is that like these are just different ways to describe the human experience to provide some
Yep.
hope for their life and the afterlife. And
Absolutely.
and so regardless of what you decide to believe in, I think like questioning, or at least being curious about whatever your parents gave you,
Mm-hmm.
might have the potential to kind of add some spice to your
Absolutely.
life.
See, and
So
I love that, bro, because it's a perfect segue to, one of the snacks I want to share around, like you said, that open-mindedness. What I want people to remember too is the way that we are socially conditioned to think a certain way, right?
mm,
So, we've researched and understand, the psyche of the cycle of socialization. And so when you're thinking about, questioning the things, your thoughts, beliefs, your behaviors, looking at where they came from and where you learned that behavior. So when you think about socialization, there's a cycle there, and it says that, when you're first born, it has several different parts, but let's think about it. So as you're going and thinking about how to explore and be open-minded, think about the stories that we're told. When you're first born, we're a blank canvas. We're a blank piece of paper. There's nothing there. We have no information. We have no misinformation, nothing, right? So what happens is from that moment, we also don't have any norms. We don't have any ways of thinking, any of that stuff. We are then conditioned to start forming what normalcy looks like based upon our circles of influence. And so the people that are around us, preferably most times beyond our control. So that's from your parents, your family, your friends, your community. We're seeing that, like, that's where you start to form what's normal. Now for some, that could be, you can have diverse perspectives and you can see a lot, but for some it might be, small town. It could be, you could have a family that might be racist, and so if you're born into that, you don't know that there are other realities. So again, are you learning things based upon that small circle of influence? So then what's interesting too is that from that, once you start to form normalcies, start to form, kind of a concept of what's going on, a lot of times those ideas are enforced by the communities that are around us. And so, say
mm,
whatever those ideas are, they might be enforced by the laws, they might be enforced by institutions. So, say back in the day when they thought that Black people were still not a whole human being, segregation, that thought was supported by law.
mhm,
So we can see how that can continue to affect how we view things and how we believe things are truths. So then from that, what's interesting too is that we then start to have these internal feelings, of these enforcements. And sometimes that can show up as self-hatred.
mm,
Sometimes it can show up as hatred for others. Now, if those ideas actually kept you in spaces of privilege, sometimes it can make you feel that, you can do no wrong, that you can do, so you can love yourself a whole lot more, or you can make judgments upon other people based upon what you've been told or the misinformation that you've gotten by not talking and speaking with them directly. And so these beliefs, now you have two things that you can do within your life. You can either continue to perpetuate the same cycle where now you become that circle of influence that gives that
Mm,
way of believing and thinking to a newer generation, those blank canvases, or you can decide to make a change.
mm,
And that change comes from raising our consciousness and our awareness of things that are available to us. All those other lived experiences, those diverse lived experiences, hearing the stories of others to form your own opinion from having more truths. And those truths are the stories of others, and reading and learning more. We have the books, we have the internet, we have the podcast, like leaning. So my thing that I would push in relation to what you're saying about open-mindedness is when I talk about this cycle of socialization, I usually use it to preface how we form bias, whether it's conscious bias
mhm.
or unconscious bias to
Right.
anything. It could be to religion, how we show up as men, how we show up as leaders or whatnot, family, friend, whatever. It's all based upon how we've been socialized.
Mhm.
And so with that, helping us to understand that we need to question why we think the way we think. Is it something that someone told us? Is it something that we decided for ourselves? So put the mirror up and look in the mirror and say, what who are the populations that I'm most comfortable with?
Right.
Who do I spend the least time with? And why? Why am I, more comfortable here and uncomfortable there? And then
Mhm.
start to lean into that uncomfortableness and start asking questions. Why am I uncomfortable thinking this way?
Mm,
Why am I uncomfortable listening to their version of
mm,
the truth?
mm.
And so from that, it's like, okay, what do I have? What truths, what validations do I have that say that I should consider to think this way about somebody across difference, or my own way of thinking. So whether that's like religion, whether that's, how you show up as a man, like I was saying,
Mhm.
think about those spaces of discomfort and why, and then explore those a little bit more and allow yourself some grace to figure out a new way of thinking.
Mm.
Does this serve me? And so some things we have learned as survival mechanisms for the first 20 years of our life, but to
Right.
go where we want to go at the end of life, we have to make some adjustments. Some
Mm.
things they don't serve us anymore. The
Right.
operating system doesn't work for this version of
Right.
your software. So we do
Facts.
that by constant self-reflection, man.
Wow.
And that's the thing that I've been pushing to right now. It's fourth quarter, we're right at the end of the year. We're in December already. A lot of people are trying to work on personal development work and a lot of personal branding. I've done a lot of work with a couple of organizations around personal branding and personal development right now, where people are trying to figure out how do I show up as a better version of myself in 2021. And
Mhm.
these are the things that I'm coaching people on. You got to start being more self-reflective and questioning, but also being more inclusive.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
and a part of that, kind of to what you do, um, you get to learn how your beliefs influence your actions and behaviors.
mhm.
You see how other people see you, and if that, how you show up, is that the same? Do people receive you the way you show up?
Yeah.
But another thing too is your understanding, when we talk about, we are the tool, we are the brand, we are a personal brand. This is
Mhm.
a part of that personal branding. How do I show up? What are my wants, beliefs? Who am I? What's my
Mm.
purpose? How would I like to be remembered? So this is that time where people are talking about New Year's resolutions. We're talking about new you resolutions, being the best version of yourself.
Mm.
And that's the ultimate form, in my opinion, the ultimate form of self-care. And so for you, bro, I know you're doing some amazing work.
Uh.
I've seen a flyer pop up on my IG, and you're doing something around gratitude and self-care. You got to tell me a little
Yeah.
bit about it because I think it adds perfectly to what's going on right now.
Yeah, man. So Ed Vanderbilt, I've been asked to do something. There's this thing we call holiday presents, Presence.
Mm,
And different people kind of do different like experiences with folks. So about an hour and a half of something cool. Some folks will do yoga, some folks some tai chi. Some folks I think there's like a self massage that's going on too. That's gonna be kind of cool.
self-massage,
Yeah, man, it's kind of cool. It's actually like pretty pretty
arm, wre-
common in the massage therapy world, the physical therapy world.
arm wrestling. Okay.
So
Turn the hat backwards. Round three. Let's go.
I can't do this. I have something I've come up with which we're calling a creative flow for gratitude,
Okay.
where the intention is to, I'm calling it like reflect and expect,
Mm,
like an opportunity to look at the year 2020, which we know is trash, for lack of a better way to put it, in a lot of ways. But for us to not just see the things that went horrible with this
mhm.
year, but there were some wins as well.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and sometimes it's hard to tap into what's right when so many things feel wrong, or rather, when the things that feel wrong are massive.
Mm,
So my hope is that we'll be able to tap into, well, what am I grateful for? What happened well? That's part of the reflection piece, and naturally the expectation piece is what you discussed. Like, what are we planning to take into the new year? One of those things will be gratitude.
mm.
And so what I've come up with is an opportunity for folks to do some mindfulness meditation, to do a sit. We'll spend some time doing that, kind of reflecting as well on gratitude and the things that went well. And then even this is existential, but ways in which to interpret those things that did also, as something flexible. Um, so in order to do some ways in which I can become better, despite the things that some might interpret as horrible or worse. So we'll do some reflection and some meditation. I'm also hoping to do some creative writing stuff with folks. Have some folks learn some skills around how to write, how to reflect um, in a literary fashion, and maybe even write some poetry. And then once we're done with that, I'll have folks kind of come back to the large space, and hoping to play my djembe a little bit. Have folks go ahead and share if they want to do some sharing, and then we'll probably end the evening with some with a brief meditation as well, kind of probably like what we call a 3-minute breathing space, something that it's kind of portable, you can take with you wherever you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, like really hoping to have folks reflect on the year, um, and although January 1 will not be what some folks expect it to be. Like, it's just a reset button. Like, coronavirus is gone. We got a new president. Everything's awesome. Black lives now matter, right? All that stuff.
Mhm.
But at least we can position ourselves in a way in which we can kind of push the refresh button,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
just take a moment to reflect. Which I guess, as a therapist, I'm trying to be intentional about doing that regularly. So whether it's in the middle
I
of the
love that.
summer. My
Yeah.
birthday's in February, so I have kind of like a natural check-in point. Like, January was New Year's, February, how you doing? And
Yeah.
um, then as the year goes, like trying to find these different points in which I ask myself, how am I? How am I? And then, as my homeboy puts it, he's also a therapist. Like, but how are you really?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's real.
That's important as well. So, yeah, I think it'll be a good experience. Like you mentioned before, you've been busy. I've been busy with a lot of stuff, and that's one of the latest things that's happening in my world.
Dude, I love that. I love the work that you're doing and continue to do, man, because it's really, I don't know, just you're an example that we need to see more of, and that's Black men talking about mental health and the ways that you can do that. I think that it's freeing for a lot of folks who are looking for that. And to be able to see, you model that process, the way that you do it has been amazing.
Mhm.
And likewise, we have a lot of brothers who have been doing a lot of work around, as the tool, helping to provide tools for others,
Yeah,
and sharpen other people's tools as well. And so, it's just great to see, that we're busy. It affects our podcast availability, but at
yeah,
least we're still pouring into the world, and that's why we even started this, was to continue in that process, man. So
mhm.
it's great to see, when you're able to provide that for the world, and anyone can sign up for that, right? You don't have to
Yeah,
be a
man.
Vanderbilt student. So,
No, no, no,
like,
no.
tell
There's
people about that. Like,
the
anybody can
link.
sign up.
Anybody can pull up.
Uh-huh.
The link is in the bio, so check out the
Yep.
bio. It is
Okay.
December. It is Tuesday, December the 8th at 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Mm.
Um, so click that link in the bio, register. It's $20. Definitely worth it.
Well worth $20 is a
Mhm.
discount. $20 is That's a freebie. Listen, please take advantage and pay people what they are worth. For this advantage, this is because it's in partnership with Vanderbilt. You can get this for
Yeah,
$20.
so uh, I ain't seeing the $20, but
Right.
like this
So
is gonna be a good experience.
Mhm.
And I think we priced it that way on purpose so that it could be more accessible to people.
I love it, bro.
So hopeful folks will take advantage. Again, link in bio, 5:30
Yes.
p.m. Tuesday, December 8th, Central Standard Time.
And y'all get to see Dr. Socks in action. And that's what I want y'all to see. Take advantage of this opportunity to see this. You're gonna enjoy it. Spread the word. Have him come to your organization. Have me come to your organization. Have us come to your organization.
Facts.
We will cultivate what you need. We have a lot of things that we have worked on and content we have created. And so we can build, especially around team dynamics, diversity, equity, inclusion, mindfulness, mental health. Like we have those tools. We throw a couple of gems here, but we got a lot in the tuck. So,
Yeah,
and we build
facts.
and develop unique content for the needs of your organizations too. So, just something to think about. Take advantage of those opportunities when you can see us when we're able to do it externally.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
link will be in the bio. And after those who do attend, please comment, share. Engagement helps us to be seen, the people who need to see what we have to say. So please help us as we continue to do to kind of give our gift to the world. So I want,
Facts, man.
yeah,
Um,
man.
you can find us on
Yes.
Facebook,
Mhm.
Quarantine Snacks Podcast. You can find us on Instagram,
Mhm.
Quarantine Snacks Podcast. You can find us via Gmail,
Mhm.
Quarantine Snacks Podcast. You can find us on Twitter, the QSP. You can find us on YouTube, Quarantine Snacks Podcast. You can find me on IG at DR Sockology. You can find Dr. J. I Live Mighty
Mhm. On Instagram, on
on
Facebook,
Instagram,
Twitter,
on
all that
Facebook,
good
Twitter.
stuff. I live mighty. Yep, absolutely. Updated website coming soon, brother.
Uh-oh.
ILiveMighty.com
Uh-oh.
is rolling that out too, buddy. So 2021 about to be sweet.
Speaking of sweets, this has been Dr. Socks.
This has been Dr. J of I Live Mighty.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yes. Peace.
Peace.